Sports, ESPN, Golf.com, all running the same core narrative. Charlie Woods didn't just show up, he delivered. Within 24 hours, social media lit up. PGA pros weighed in. Commentators scrambled for sound bites. Suddenly, clips of Charlie's swing were everywhere. Well, slowed down, broken down compared to Tiger's, but now with something different in the air. Respect. Yes, he carries the Woods name. Yes, the expectations are baked into every shot he takes. But this performance, this win, wasn't about genetics or legacy. It was about execution, precision, poise under pressure that you don't fake and certainly don't teach. The kid didn't just make birdies, he held off some of the most competitive junior golfers on the circuit. That alone flips the conversation. This wasn't background noise anymore. This was the headline. And the golf world took notice because, frankly, it had no choice. When a teenager with that last name steps out of the shadows and beats a field of killers with nothing but shot making and steel nerves, people stop scrolling, they start watching. And from that moment on, Charlie Woods wasn't just Tiger's son, he was the story. It didn't take long after Charlie Woods' AJGA victory for the professional golf world to start weighing in. And when they did, it wasn't in polite, reserved tones. It was real. It was pointed. And it was loud. You expect a bit of noise when Tiger Woods' son does something noteworthy, but this wasn't just media chatter or recycled praise. These were tour veterans, major winners, giving genuine credit to a kid who, until recently, was mostly known for walking fairways beside his dad. Justin Thomas, someone who's shared plenty of rounds with the Woods family, didn't sugarcoat it. He's got great tempo, and he's tough mentally, he told reporters after a round of his own. He doesn't just play the game, he understands it. That's rare. For a player who's competed with the best and seen what true competitive fire looks like, that kind of endorsement means something. And Thomas isn't one to hand out compliments just for the cameras. Rory McIlroy, often measured in his praise, was just as direct. Not just a name. He knows how to compete, he said during an interview on the Golf Channel. You could hear the tone shift from curiosity to respect. It was no longer about the novelty of Tiger's son playing in tournaments. It was about Charlie being a real contender in his own right. That distinction matters. It's what turns headlines into long-term expectations. Even Jordan Spieth, reflecting on his own early days, saw something familiar. He reminds me of myself when I was a teenager, he said during the PNC Championship. The confidence, the focus, it's not forced, it's natural. Coming from a player who took the PGA Tour by storm before he could legally rent a car, that comparison isn't casual. It's telling. These weren't off-the-cuff compliments or media sound bites thrown out for clicks. They were honest reactions from players who know what greatness looks like, and more importantly, what it feels like to be around it. In a world where hype can be manufactured overnight, what these pros said carried real weight. Because when names like Thomas, McIlroy, and Spieth start talking like that, you realize Charlie Woods isn't just being watched, he's being measured. A 6 under 66 sounds impressive on paper, but it's how Charlie Woods got there that made the golf world stop what it was doing. This wasn't some hot streak or a front nine fluke. It was calculated, patient, and at times ice cold. The kind of round you expect from a seasoned tour player grinding on Sunday, not a teenager with the weight of the Woods name on his shoulders. He wasn't out there spraying miracle shots or getting lucky bounces. He was stringing together smart golf, hole after hole, like he'd done it 1,000 times before. What really stood out were those final 9 holes. That's where the pressure usually gets to kids his age. The leaderboard tightens, the cameras start to follow, and every tee shot starts to feel like a test. But Charlie, he didn't blink. 3 birdies on the back, including a dart on 16 that left him a tap-in, wasn't just clutch, so it was ruthless. There was no panic, no overreaction, just a clear plan and total commitment to every shot. For those watching closely, it didn't look like he was chasing a win. It looked like he knew it was already his. Max Homa was one of the first pros to take notice. He jumped on Twitter the same day, praising Charlie's tempo and poise, even calling out the balance in his swing and the maturity in his club selection. Coming from a guy who's built a reputation on ball striking and self-awareness, that wasn't empty praise. It was a tip of the cap from one technician to another. What shook people, though, wasn't just that Charlie pulled off a low round. it was how smooth it looked. There was no sense of overexertion, no wide-eyed energy, no fluky putts from downtown. Just pure, repeatable, confident golf. The kind of round where you forget you're watching a kid until the scorecard slaps you back into reality. It's in rounds like this that potential becomes something else. Polish. And that's exactly what everyone saw that day. Not a glimpse of what might be, but a preview of what's coming. For years, Charlie Woods walked in the shadow of the biggest name the sport has ever known. It was inevitable. From the first time he teed it up in public, cameras were zoomed in, comparisons were loaded, and the headlines all read the same. Tiger's son. Every swing, every fist pump, every glance was dissected through the lens of legacy. But lately, something's shifted. The conversation is no longer about who his father is. It's about who Charlie is becoming and how fast he's getting there. The temptation for fans and media has always been to label him a mini Tiger. But those who've watched him closely, really watched him, will tell you Charlie doesn't play like Tiger. He doesn't even try to. His swing isn't a carbon copy. His demeanor is cooler, more measured. And his course management already shows a maturity that's more self-made than inherited. Coaches from Golf Channel broadcasts have pointed out the nuance in his approach, the way he shapes shots based on conditions, not ego. He isn't trying to be the second coming of anything. He's trying to win golf tournaments his way. Golf.com analysts have gone a step further, saying what others have been whispering. Charlie Woods is carving out a new identity, one that stands up on its own. There's still that Woods DNA, the killer instinct, the competitive fire, but it's wrapped in something more deliberate, more composed. The flash is there when he needs it, but he's not swinging for viral clips. He's swinging for trophies. And now the pros are picking up on it, that they're not just seeing the son of a 15-time major champion, they're seeing a real threat. Someone who skipped the awkward learning curve and stepped straight into the spotlight with a game that demands attention. Charlie Woods may always carry the name, but the conversation is no longer about Tiger. It's about the kid standing beside him, writing his own story, and forcing everyone to pay attention. There's a different energy now when Charlie Woods tees it up. It's not just about watching a famous last name go through the motions. It's about watching someone knock on the door of the next level, and maybe, just maybe, getting ready to kick it down. What was once seen as a long-term project is suddenly becoming a short-term problem for the rest of the field. And you can feel it, quietly, subtly. But it's there. That edge of tension when his name gets brought up in locker rooms, on range walks, in interviews. Because the future isn't just on the way. It might already be here. Charlie isn't just playing great junior golf. Whoa. He's playing meaningful golf. Golf that gets the attention of sponsors, selectors, and yes, even other players. There are whispers about potential exemptions. There are rumors about junior team events. There are corporate eyes already imagining him in commercials and branded bags. And the reason those conversations are even happening? Simple. He looks ready. Maybe not for Augusta, but ready to matter. What makes this moment different isn't just the buzz, it's how the pros are reacting to it. They're not rolling their eyes or brushing it off as media hype, they're paying attention. Because somewhere deep down they remember what it felt like to be that kid, the one who didn't know the limits yet, the one who didn't care who was in the field, just who was in his way. And they also remember what it felt like when a kid like that started showing up in their pairings. This isn't just admiration anymore, it's awareness. And maybe even pressure, because if Charlie keeps this pace, keeps showing up like this, he won't be part of the next generation. He'll be pushing the current one. And when veterans start watching their back, it wasn't supposed to end like this. Not for Miles Russell. Not for the AJGA's #1 junior golfer who came into Streamsong Resort as the undisputed favorite. And definitely not for the kid ranked 604th. But on a warm Florida afternoon, everything flipped. Charlie Woods, yes, that Charlie Woods, just delivered the kind of round that freezes a fairway and sends a shockwave through the sport. A final round 66, 8 birdies, a 15 under par total that didn't just win the AJGA Team TaylorMade Invitational, it sent a message, loud, unmistakable, and absolutely unmissable. From the moment he stepped onto the first tee, something felt different. It wasn't nerves, it wasn't flash, it was presence. The same quiet confidence golf fans once saw in his father, now emerging in a new generation. Charlie didn't chase the lead, he hunted it. 4 birdies in his first 5 holes, every swing calculated, every putt pure, and as the names ahead of him cracked under pressure, Charlie surged, calm and composed, all the way to the top of the leaderboard. Miles Russell watched it happen in real time. The top-ranked player in the country stunned, not by luck, not by fluke, but by a performance that was surgical, relentless, and most of all, undeniable. When Charlie walked off the 18th green, the scoreboard didn't just show a win, it showed dominance. But this wasn't just about beating one player. This was about crashing through the wall of expectation that has followed Charlie Woods since he first picked up a club. The question now, what happens next? Because if this kind of round is what he's capable of at 16 with that last name, under that kind of pressure, is this the start of something much bigger? Something historic? One thing's certain, the golf world isn't just watching anymore, it's bracing for what comes next. Charlie Woods has always drawn a crowd. Cameras followed him long before scorecards did. Every swing dissected, every glance compared to the legend who raised him. He wasn't just a junior golfer, he was Tiger Woods' son, and that legacy, as powerful as it is, cast a long shadow. The PNC Championship gave the world a glimpse of the bond between father and son, their synchronized strides and mirrored swings. But for Charlie, the journey wasn't about becoming the next Tiger, it was about becoming Charlie. Until now, his AJG resume was promising but quiet. 5 starts, 1 top 25 finish. Enough to keep him on the radar, not enough to spark a revolution. And standing in his way at Streamsong was the most dominant figure in junior golf, Miles Russell. #1 in the rankings, a player used to leading, not chasing. All signs pointed to another win for Russell and another learning experience for Woods. But then something shifted. This wasn't the same Charlie Woods who quietly played through expectations. This was a new version, sharper, calmer, more precise. It wasn't just the swing that had matured, it was the mindset, the decision-making, the way he carried himself, not like a kid in awe of the spotlight, but like someone who had finally made peace with it. On a course known for testing patience and punishing aggression, Charlie played like a tactician. He didn't overpower Streamsong, he outthought it. The final round wasn't just a victory, it was a transformation. From potential to performance, from hype to headline, and suddenly Charlie isn't being talked about because of his last name. He's being talked about in spite of it. This wasn't Tiger's son winning a tournament, this was Charlie Woods beating the best and proving that when it matters most, he doesn't need a legacy to lead him. He's carving one of his own. It started quietly, just a smooth tee shot, a calm walk down the fairway. But then came the spark, birdie, then another, and another. Before the field could blink, Charlie Woods had rattled off 4 birdies in 5 holes to open the final round. It wasn't a hot streak, it was a takeover. Reuters reported it as a front 9 assault, but anyone watching knew this was more than numbers on a scorecard. It was the moment the entire tournament tilted in one direction, and it wasn't toward the favorite. By the time Charlie reached the turn, it was no longer a question of if he could hang with the top-ranked players, it was whether anyone could catch him. Spoiler, they couldn't. NBC Sports had already called the AJGA team Tailor-Made Invitational one of the strongest junior fields of the year. The #1 junior in the nation, Miles Russell, was there. So was Luke Colton, ranked 5th. But rankings don't matter when someone's rewriting the script in real time. Charlie didn't outlast these players, he outclassed them. Golf Digest says his ranking leap will be historic, and how could it not be? This wasn't a one-hole wonder or a backdoor top 10. This was a 15 under total, a final round 66, a win by 3 shots over a field packed with college-bound talent and future pros. It wasn't close, and it wasn't expected. That's what makes it insane. What Charlie did at Streamsong wasn't about momentum or a lucky bounce, it was about taking control early and never giving it back. While the rest of the field fought to find their rhythm, he was already dancing. That final round, it changed everything. Not just the outcome of a single tournament, but how the entire golf world sees him now. Charlie didn't just show up, he made sure no one could forget he was there. Streamsong Black doesn't care who you are. It chews up egos, punishes mistakes, and demands precision on every shot. It's not the kind of course you bully, it's the kind of course you respect. And that's exactly what Charlie Woods did. While others tried to overpower it, Charlie studied it, dissected it, and turned every hole into a chess move. His strategy wasn't flashy, it was flawless. He didn't take unnecessary risks. He didn't chase hero shots. He trusted his game and executed with a calm most players twice his age would envy. Tight pin placements, he aimed safe. Trouble off the tee, he clubbed down. Every decision looked like it came from a player who'd spent a decade playing that course, not a 16-year-old still carving out his path. It wasn't just the skill on display, it was maturity. And that's what separates this win from a hot round or lucky break. According to the New York Post, Tiger Woods himself said Charlie is forging his own path. That path? It's clearly built on more than just genetics. It's about how Charlie sees the game, how he feels it. He doesn't just hit shots, he crafts rounds. He builds momentum without forcing it, and when the pressure tightens, he loosens his shoulders and delivers. Meanwhile, players like Miles Russell, arguably the best in junior golf, felt the heat. The course got in their heads, the leaderboard got in their heads. Charlie, on the other hand, looked like he'd been here before, even though he hadn't. While others pressed, he stayed present. That's what makes this performance special. It wasn't about speed or strength, it was about smarts. Charlie didn't just beat the field at Streamsong, he outthought it. He walked into a lion's den and played like he owned the keys. And if that's what he's capable of at 16, then the rest of junior golf just got a very real wake-up call. So now that Charlie Woods has lit up one of junior golf's toughest fields and walked away not just with a win, but a statement, everyone's asking the same question. What's next? Is this a one-off miracle round, or the opening chapter of something bigger, something generational? One thing's for sure, this wasn't luck, this was preparation meeting opportunity. And the result? A seismic shift in the junior golf landscape. Suddenly, Charlie isn't the kid with the famous last name anymore. He's the name. This win at Streamsong was no fluke. It was a measured, controlled, and dominant performance that showed he doesn't just belong, he can lead. College recruiters are watching, sponsors are circling, and you can bet the AJGA fields just got a lot more nervous. Could we see Charlie dominate the AJGA circuit from here on out? Easily. Could he get invites to elite amateur events or even make an early push toward pro qualifiers? It's not impossible. After all, this is a player who just took down the top-ranked junior golfer in the country by 7 strokes.